Hello, my name is Kristen Yonkis, and I will be presenting the effects of globalization on coffee produced in Colombia. We will address the following items in my presentation. I chose researching the coffee industry in Colombia as my first choice for the following reasons. I am very interested in learning more about the coffee industry as I am an avid coffee drinker. It would also help me understand globalization as it relates to something I do daily. I feel presenting the coffee industry in Colombia will be very enjoyable and interesting to me and to the rest of the class. We will be exploring several topics as we learn about the coffee in Colombia. Trade is very important to the production of coffee from Colombia. One of the important trade agreements is the U.S.-Colombia Trade Promotion Agreement, which took effect in 2012. This bilateral agreement between the U.S. and Colombia allows for goods exported to or imported from Colombia to be free of tariffs. While positive economic effects have been felt by both countries, the U.S. has done much better than Colombia in export dollars due to the free trade agreement. The other benefits felt by this agreement include policies for better protection of workers in Colombia, including an increase in improving worker rights and conditions, with an added benefit of a decrease in unemployment. Both countries also agreed to respect each other's intellectual property rights. The benefits come with some challenges. Some of the challenges faced under this agreement include the fact that Colombia has not increased its exports to the degree it had originally thought. This has caused turmoil within the country, since there are factions that believe the agreement should be dissolved. There are several major government policy issues that exist in Colombia affecting the coffee industry. Specifically, we will look at the following examples and concerns which affect business and daily life. They are workers' rights, drug trafficking, political corruption, and investments. Worker rights. There have been many attempts to protect workers in Colombia, yet unfair working conditions continue to exist. These conditions are especially felt by poor farm workers like those working in the coffee fields. However, under the newly elected president, these issues are starting to be addressed in a more systematic way. Drug trafficking. This continues to be a widespread problem in Colombia and affects the farming community as there is much more money to be made planting drug crops such as coca rather than by farming coffee. Poor farming families have little incentive to do the right thing, and rather than see their families suffer, many choose to cultivate coca. A program has been reintroduced in Colombia to combat drug trafficking. In it, the U.S. assists Colombia by spraying coca crops with a herbicide, thus killing those crops. This action by Colombia's newest president would reverse actions taken a few years ago by corrupt officials. It is envisioned that this program, together with economic aid, would provide farmers with a way to end the planting of the coca crops and allow them to go back to their traditional plantings of agricultural products such as coffee. Political corruption. Colombia has faced many years of political corruption. The Corruption Perception Index shows Colombia with a score of 36 in the year 2018. A score below 50 shows us there is a widespread corruption in Colombia that is not being addressed by the government. The new president promises to put an end to political corruption and briberies. Investments. There have been very few investments in Colombia due to fear, corruption, and drug trafficking issues. This can change if the United States works with venture capital to make investments. Investments in coffee will help create jobs and can help the economic conditions of the poor rural areas of Colombia. Social media and technology are impacting the coffee farmer entrepreneurs in areas such as marketing, sales, digital banking, and mobile online banking. The types of technology used are varied and include company and social media websites, smart credit cards, cell phones, etc. For example, coffee farmers and cooperatives can sell directly to the consumer via their own websites. An example is Pergamino. These are one of the companies that sells coffee from their farms and other Colombian farmers directly to consumers across the world. Another area of technology that has impacted Colombian farmers is digital banking, such as the Smart Coffee ID card, which allows for payments from cooperatives and other large coffee buyers to be deposited in farmers' accounts rather than receiving payments in cash. Other technology assisting farmers are cell phones, which help manage communications in hard-to-reach rural areas and allow for mobile money transactions to take place. The coffee business tends to be a patriarchal system with gender issues that have existed for years. These issues impact all aspects of the industry. Recently, a study was conducted by the Global Coffee Platform with small family farms with the following results. Compared to men, women have less access to and control over resources, land, income, training and technical support, leisure time. Their participation in decision-making related to the productive sphere is restricted. It's no surprise that these issues impact the ability for women to assume an entrepreneurial and leadership role in the coffee business. In cases where families were predominant as owners of the land, it was still left to the man to make the decision. Some of the recommendations of the study include the following. Women should be supported and encouraged to take on leadership positions. Most importantly, organizations such as Car Cafe and Ecom should create opportunities for women to be able to participate in income-producing activities. Accessibility and education should be provided for women so that they have a better understanding of coffee growing. Many times, women are not included in these sessions, or they are held at times when women are performing family duties. Brazil is outpacing Colombia in coffee production. One big reason for this is that Brazil is able to harvest its coffee beans using machinery. Colombian beans need to be picked mostly by hand because of the geographical location of the plants along hills and mountains. This has caused Brazil to produce more coffee, causing a glut of coffee on the worldwide market. Because of the glut, coffee prices have decreased, causing Colombian farmers to have debt. Since Colombia has not been able to compete, this decreased pricing has led to economic inequality for the farmers in this industry. As we learned from our readings in the Lexus and the olive tree, this situation is a winner-take-all scenario, causing a wide economic gap to exist. Colombian farmers are in need of more and more stipends from the government to be able to continue their farming and to compete with foreign coffee producers such as Brazil. As the gap widens, economic inequality grows. Ethics plays an increasingly important role in the world regarding farming and agricultural products. Consumers are drawn to products that are made in an ethical and sustainable manner. In this context, ethics relates to acting in a socially responsible way. Regarding coffee farming, it means that you, as a grower, will act responsibly, paying fair wages and treat your workers in a humane way. As we have learned, Colombia is the world's second largest supplier of coffee, certified as Fair Trade USA, the third world supplier of 4C coffee, the second for rainforest coffee, and the third for UTZ certified coffee. These classifications allow consumers to know that the farming methods is ethical and sustainable. This type of farming is seen more with smaller, more entrepreneurial farmers as big companies are looking to make larger profits and therefore will pay the least for workers. Some are accused of treating workers badly, whatever it takes to get the coffee made as quickly and as cheaply as possible. Sustainability is becoming a way of life for the coffee growers in Colombia. Through the FNC, the National Federation of coffee growers are receiving information regarding good stewardship of the land so that it can be used to grow coffee for generations to come. The policies set in place by the FNC include aspects such as social responsibility and using agricultural methods which do not cause deforestation or poisoning of the land. Improved agricultural methods include reforesting the land and using practices which are based upon the climate in Colombia to increase coffee production. This movement was begun about 20 years ago as the results of improper use of the land became evident. Deforestation caused insects to thrive, causing issues for the land such as use of insecticides and the need for irrigation. Individual social responsibility means that everyone is accountable for their actions and that they should be working on benefiting society, not only on themselves. A couple of examples of acting in a socially responsible way is by voting, recycling, supporting women's rights movements, etc. The individual should concentrate on doing what is right for society and the environment. Corporate social responsibility is essentially the same as social responsibility. It's part of the company in which the employees are also held accountable. Decisions are made based upon the effects to the environment or society and not simply just on the bottom line. This concept is to have businesses contribute to social responsibility by their actions. They should act in a way that benefits society and not just for profits. They should also be moral and ethical and perform their civic duties. Their actions should not hurt the environment or society. Social responsibility can play a big role when it comes to the relationships between a company and its host country. One large action is to make sure that the workers producing products for companies have good working conditions. We have seen both individual consumer actions and corporate actions affecting the coffee industry in Colombia. Examples of social responsibility, both corporate and individual, include company producers like Pergamino and through individual consumer surveys requesting authentic sustainable use of the land and fair treatment of the farm workers. Overall, there has been some positive aspects of globalization in the coffee industry in Colombia, including better access to technology and social media, access to loans and other funds, access to education, identification of gender issues with recommendations to correct these issues, and through social and corporate responsibility goals for the treatment of labor and sustainability in the use of land and in production. However, there have been worldwide economic trends that have depressed the price of coffee in Colombia, leading to farmers struggling to make debt payments and paying for everyday farming supplies. These economic trends are affecting the future of the farming community in Colombia.